this might be something that your business actually needs right now. Hey there, so in this video, we're going to talk about the visionary and the integrator tandem. We'll also talk about how they work together and why I believe that every business actually needs a pair. If you're a business owner, who knows? If you stick long enough, you might realize that this might be something that your business actually needs right now. By the way, before we go ahead and deep dive, my name is Jordan Ago, and I'm a virtual business integrator. I usually work with agency owners, with coaches, with contractors, and even real estate investors, mostly founders in the B2B space. So let's go. What is a visionary? Who is a visionary and how to spot one? A visionary is someone who can spot opportunities from a distance. A person who can find opportunities that others miss. They see the gaps in the market. They see opportunities. They understand what people want before some people even know that they want it. They have that gift of foresight. They also are big picture thinkers, right? They come up with ideas. They really enjoy coming up with great ideas to solve different problems out in the market. They are also great at building relationships with key people to help them grow the business. So that's a typical visionary after working with dozens of founders out throughout my career. These are like the common attributes that I've seen, a pattern across all different founders and CEOs. They also, they have a playful imagination, right? Obviously are risk takers as well. Great, amazing people. Make it a little bit more visual. Visionaries are these are people that can see the castle beyond the mountain, right? So they can go ahead and see the goal that others don't. Now, the challenge is that these visionaries are terrible at execution, right? They don't know how to go ahead and build the bridge that can help them get across the mountain and over into the castle. Not because they're lazy, it's not because they just don't care, but it's just that how their brains are wired. That's just how they operate naturally, and that's their strength. And say they don't really bother into the little details, right? The little things, the things that happens into day-to-day stuff. That is when things crumble most of the time, because when a visionary is only focused on sales, closing deals, building relationships, but is not too good at fulfilling them, what do you think will happen in the business, right? That is why visionaries are great at what they do and integrators are different. Okay, now let's talk about the integrator role, okay? What is an integrator? What does that mean? How to spot one, right? An integrator is the exact opposite of the visionary. They are great at executing. If you remember my analogy earlier, the visionary is the person who can see the castle beyond the mountain. The integrator is the person who can, they can go ahead and see that castle beyond the mountain, not as clearly as how a visionary sees it, but they are great at building the bridge that can help them get to that castle beyond that mountain. They're great at building stuff. They understand. These are people that are organized. They understand patterns. They know how to map out processes. They know how to create SOPs, how to standardize processes and make them SOPs. They know how to identify what are the key metrics, the KPIs, right? The key performance indicators that you need to know in order for you to make the right decision, data-driven decision. They know how to lead meetings. They know how to lead team. They're great at influencing colleagues, team members in order for them to go ahead and do and operate in a way that is required for the business, right? They're pretty much the people that runs the day-to-day. That's what an integrator does, right? They're leading meetings, creating metrics, building projects, processes that could help the business produce what the visionary or the founder has promised. These are the people that are in the background. For example, think of it like this. Walt Disney is the visionary and his brother Roy Disney is the integrator. Iron Man is the visionary, Pepper Potts is the integrator, right? Batman is the visionary, Alfred is the integrator. So I hope that helps explain it a little bit better. So here's where founders get it wrong. Most founders have the common mistakes of founders, and I'll go ahead and share a few ones that I've seen all throughout my career. Number one is they fail to delegate. They just don't really grasp the idea of leveraging other people in order for you to get the output that you need. You just can't let go of the vine, as what the book says. That this is common to technical experts, people that have been so used into doing the things that they've been doing that they are just too apprehensive to delegate it to someone else, thinking that, okay, they're not gonna do it as good as as well as I did, right? But again, that happens. That's normal, and it's a process, right? But again, until you learn how to delegate, you will not eventually be able to go ahead and elevate yourself to the next rank in your business, right? And what happens after that? You will be the bottleneck of the business, which is not good. You're not serving your purpose well enough, right? So that's number one. Number two is that they are hiring too soon. Founders hire too soon without even preparing the role. And this is normal. Sometimes this happens. This is great for your first hire, right? I normally say, okay, if you have the budget, if you can sustain it, yeah, sure, hire an executive assistant, hire a unicorn that can go ahead and help build it for you. But that can only go so for a good amount of time. In order for you to be able to go ahead and prepare the person, avoid conflict, avoid frustrations in both parties, you and your new hire, it's better to prepare the role first before you even go ahead and onboard that new person into the company. As simple as having a job description, like paint what the day of this person would look like, what the success look like to this role, what are the key metrics that they need to hit, the key deliverables, what's the definition of done whenever you need to delegate them a certain task. These are the things that are essential that I think that they need to establish first before even bringing in that person into the company, right? In order, again, to avoid frustration on both sides. So I hope that makes sense. Another mistake that I've seen from founders is that they're trying to do both, right? They're trying to be the integrator and also the visionary of the business. And again, this can happen. And I'm not saying that this is not possible, that, it's not sustainable. You can only go ahead and juggle both roles for so long. What will happen? The obvious, you will be burnt out. And that's not good. You can't keep on working on the big picture, building relationships, closing deals, if you're also running and managing your team on a day-to-day basis and just being too busy into the weeds of operating the business, right? It can only go for so long. You cannot really grow and scale your business and close deals if you're busy running the day-to-day. Those are some of the common struggles or mistakes that I've seen from founders. And again, I think having an integrator into the picture would eventually go ahead and help you relieve of those headaches. Let's talk about what an integrator actually does. So an integrator isn't there to execute tasks, okay? Just wanted to go ahead and clarify that. They're there to run the business. They're there to lead as well. So you might call them chief of staff or an operations business manager. It really depends on the business, right? Title changes depending on the company, but the job is the same, really. They're accountable for making sure that the business runs while you focus on vision and growth. Here's what that actually looks like in a day-to-day basis, okay? So integrators lead weekly level 10 meetings, right? That keeps the team aligned and moving forward, organized, on the same page, where they talk about status updates, issues. They talk about the rocks, the quarterly goals of the organization or the team. So that usually happens once a week for 90 minutes, where the team jumps on Zoom, Google Meet, and we talk about certain items, and there's a clear agenda that is set. every week. Leading weekly level 10 meetings is one essential key. Number two is, an integrator is someone who knows how to map out processes, the main key stages of every client or customer journey, and then how to standardize those procedures, right? And turn them into SOPs, standard operating procedures, so that everyone within the organization or the team knows what to do, how to operate it. They have a single source of truth that, okay, how do I do this task? Okay, go into this Bible, the playbook, the manual of the company, look into this SOP and follow the steps. That's it, right? So you that's a person who can go ahead and map out the process, standardize it, and put it in written format for everyone to see, right? Next, okay, this is a person who can build systems, who can connect departments, processes, and steps, and just make sure that nothing falls into the cracks, right? I'm not just I'm talking about workflows, automations, someone who can go ahead and make sure that business runs all together as a single unit. A business integrator is someone who can help identify what are the key performance indicators, what are the milestones, what are the metrics that you have to hit, and the thresholds that they need to go ahead and constantly hit, right? If you clearly identify what those KPIs are, the gauges that you see in the dashboard of a car, it's like that, right? If you're able to go ahead and have that clearly presented to you, then you'll be able to go ahead and easily make decisions that is data driven, and make decisions confidently and quickly. You have someone like that in your business, what is the result, right? The business actually works. It works as a single unit, like an engine that produces the same output every time, constantly. Everything connected. Everyone is moving towards the same direction. Nothing falls to the cracks. So that is what a business integrator does. I hope that makes sense. Now, in case you're asking, what to look for in an integrator, right? When you're hiring one. Now, let me go ahead and share you some of the things that I think would be a good quality to have when looking for an integrator. Number one, obviously, is values alignment. You want to go ahead and work with someone that aligns with your values. I think that doesn't only work. I mean, this applies to all positions in general. Just want to go ahead and make sure that you work with people that support and that operates in the same principles that you do, right? Number two is reliability. You want to go ahead and work with someone that has a proven track record of doing what they say they will do. Someone who will follow through what they say. Doing integrator work takes a lot of effort. You'll be speaking with a lot of people, auditing, coming up with ideas, executing them, following it through. So it takes a lot of hard work. So you want to make sure that you are hiring, you're putting someone in that integrator seat that is highly reliable. Number three, you want to go ahead and find an integrator that is a systems thinker, someone who can see the big picture, understands the high level overview of things, sees them in stages, and be able to go ahead and identify how to or connect them and how to go ahead and build a seamless process to make sure that each of the main stages functions accordingly and will provide the same output, right? How to standardize that process, come up with an SOP, and share it with the team to make sure that everybody follows, right? So a systems thinker. So obviously that would be someone who is highly organized as well, right? A problem solver, I think that should go without saying. You want to go to make sure that an integrator is someone who really understands what it is that you're solving, who can clearly define what is the definition of done, and not just like someone who can easily get bogged down into the little things, right? And get too busy doing the minutia of things and tends to forget about like what is it that we really have to provide here as an output as a company, right? So you want to make sure that someone who can who is solutions focused. And obviously good at communication and relationships as well, right? You want to go and make sure that you're working with an integrator who can lead, who knows how to influence people into directing them towards the same goals that the company has set. You want to go and make sure that you're working with an integrator who's patient enough to work with people, different departments, different walks of life, basically. So that's, I would say, would be a great quality attribute to look for when hiring an integrator. Now, you might ask, like, where can I find one, right? And I think that's a fair question to ask at this point. There's two ways, basically internal or external. So internal way is you want to go ahead and look into your team, look at the current team members, find leaders, right? People that could influence other people, because that's basically the core definition of what a leader is, right? Who is highly organized, but is also good at executing and delegating, right? Someone who knows how to ask the right questions, someone who doesn't easily get frustrated, has enough patience to work with, with different people, and inspire and lead them forward, right? If you can't find one, obviously the second option is externally. You can hire someone externally. Some companies hire a fractional COO, Chief of Operating Officer, or a consultant, right? Or like me, a virtual business integrator. So someone externally that you can bring in to go ahead and focus on building the systems and leading the people, training them to run those systems that you built for them, right? That's that, right? I hope that's helpful. Now, a couple of things that I found. Some of the best integrators are mostly remote, right? You can go ahead and find them on Facebook groups, Upwork, LinkedIn. Yeah, you just go ahead and need to find someone with that skill set. I hope that gives you enough clarity and better understanding on the dynamics between the visionary and the integrator, and why is it important for every business to have both. To put it simply, a visionary is someone who is responsible for bringing in ideas, while the integrator is someone who is responsible for running the day-to-day and making sure that that idea is being delivered or fulfilled. If you have any questions, leave a comment, send me a message. If you're interested in collaborating on a certain project, let me know. Send me an email, and I'd love to know more about your project and see if we could go ahead and work together and add value to each other. Thank you. That's it. Have a great day. Bye-bye.